Kyiv is one of the oldest cities in Europe. Its streets, squares, and churches hold many incredible stories. And I'm going to tell one of them. I'm going to tell you about the strongest, most determined, and smartest person I've ever known. I will tell you about my grandmother. Her name was Olga, and she was the great princess. Her husband, that is, my grandfather, Prince Ihor, was much older than her. He often went to war, conquering one neighboring tribe after another. However, one of these tribes, the Drevlyans, did not want to recognize the prince's authority. They rebelled and killed him. My father, Sviatoslav, was barely 3 years old at the time and was just learning the wisdom of princely science. The Drevlyans thought that grandmother would not be able to hold on to the princely throne. Their prince boldly sent matchmakers to grandmother, and she ordered them to be met with all honors from the river to the princely court. The ambassadors were carried in the arms, and there they were thrown into a pit with their boat and buried. My grandmother, really loved my grandfather, and really did not like the Drevlyans. However, they did not give up hope of reaching an agreement. They sent their most respected men for the second time. Grandma offered them a bath after a long journey, and added some firewood to keep the ambassadors warm. Eventually, grandmother decided to put things in order in the lands that my grandfather had conquered, and started with the Drevlyans. But they seemed to have learned something and knew what to expect. She had to use the air force. After that, my grandmother began to favor ultra-modern stone construction. She took care of the roads, taxes, and the division of the country into separate regions. In each region, there was a hospitable courtyard where the princely family stayed during their travels. Such places were called pogosts, and later, churches and cemeteries began to be built next to them. You ask where the churches came from? The point is that grandmother Olga realized that laws alone would not unite people. We needed a common idea that everyone would believe in. To do this, my grandmother went to Constantinople, the center of a new powerful faith, Christianity. Emperor Constantine VII began to court my grandmother, but she stood firm. First, I want to be baptized, and I ask you to become my godfather. Too late. The emperor realized that it was not appropriate for a father to marry his daughter, even a goddaughter. However, my own father, Sviatoslav, did not share my grandmother's faith. He was a pagan and preferred weapons to faith. It was my grandmother who took care of our state and brought the Christian faith. The strong and independent princess became an example for many, but I remember her as a kind and gentle grandmother. I miss her and give my word. I will make sure that her descendants do not forget her. This is me, Volodymyr the Great, Prince of Kyiv.
Discover extraordinary Ukraine with the travel book.
Want more fire stories? Subscribe to this channel.